Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Merry Christmas to you all. Hope you guys have had an awesome day, a great Christmas, just spending time with family and friends, whatever you may be doing. Hope you guys have had a very, very Merry Christmas. I appreciate every single one of you guys. And, I promised you guys I would get a video this afternoon, this evening, so I certainly definitely have some things to talk about with you guys. First off, we're going to talk about the chance for some light snow overnight tonight into tomorrow, and then maybe into tomorrow night for maybe as areas as far southeast as Georgia, the Carolinas. Now, for those folks, I'm not talking a lot of snow, maybe some flurries, but we're going to talk a little bit about that. But, if you live in Tennessee, points north or northwest, you could certainly see maybe at minimum a dusting. But certain areas could see a couple inches of snow. In fact, you're forecasted to see that. So, it's kind of a 12 to 24 hours late for some people who it would have been awesome to see it on Christmas. But it's snowing right now on your Christmas night for areas of northern Missouri, Iowa, and surrounding states. A little bit of freezing rainfall. We'll talk about that. We had a big surprise today in areas of Melbourne, Florida, and surrounding communities. I saw a little bit of sleet and snow this morning. It was a real deal. I retweeted some the tweet of it showing snow. The person definitely sent it to me, and it was legit. There was snowflakes flying and everything. So whoever was praying for snow down there, you must have prayed hard enough, because it delivered, and it was really, really neat to see. Buffalo continues to be crippled by a significant snowstorm and snow squalls. Basically, this lake effect snow that continues to hit the areas. It keeps pivoting back and forth, and feet of snow. And you're going to get another foot of snow, maybe 2 foot of snow in certain areas over the next 24 hours. We'll give you an update on that, because it is paralyzed the city. It really has stranded people on the interstate. It's really been a terrible situation, a life-threatening situation. We'll give you an update on that. If you guys have not subscribed, certainly consider subscribing. Like the video if you like it. Appreciate all of y'all. And like I said, I hope you guys have had an awesome Christmas. Let's get rolling here. Let's talk watches and warnings. If you guys got anything that I can pray about or pray over, please put it in the comments below. Never want to forget that. So we still got the ongoing winter storm warnings. The blizzard warnings have been dropped. The winds have let up. But you still got the lake effect snow alerts and the winter storm warnings up here. Hard freeze warnings still in effect, where it'll still get into the teens and for many areas in the south tonight. Winter weather advisories for this purple area. It's got this kind of a weird gap right here that I think will be filled in. It's very odd. It looks like the National Weather Service is just on agreeing. But really, this is for the National Weather Service in St. Louis. Has not really issued much of any winter weather advisories for the immediate area. But, look at these counties. In southern Illinois, southern Indiana, you guys are under a winter weather advisory. I think that these areas right in here will get under a winter weather advisory here in the coming hours. In fact, by the time some of you folks watch this video, you might be under a winter weather advisory. But this is almost getting into Tennessee, but we'll see. I think a lot of people from the National Weather Service are waiting to see how this verifies. So we're going to break it down and take a look at some model guidance, the HRRR model, the NAM, and a couple things, and see how this could verify. First off, we're going to start off by looking at the HRRR model, and this is as of 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So out there right now, Central Time, right now out there as of literally right now, it's 4:19 in Central Time for you folks in Minnesota, Iowa, things like that. So this is saying where the snow should be at around 5. So make sure I get my time zones not mixed up, because I'm in the Eastern Time out here. But I can already tell you it's not verifying very well. It's verifying with more moisture. If I look at this and then we take a look at this, there's a lot more moisture showing up in southwest Iowa than what models are showing. You go this, and it doesn't really show much snow at all right in here, right? But if you actually look at the radar out of Des Moines, there's a little bit more snow showing up right here than what it's saying it is. These clippers are notorious, and this is what this is. It's an Alberta clipper. They kind of bring their own cold air, kind of like an upper level low or a cutoff low. It kind of reinforces cold air sometimes, and then a lot of times they can overperform. That's why we're watching kind of down to the southeast. How much does this moisture hold together? I know this doesn't look like much, but this is probably dropping a couple inches of snow very quickly. This is going to make its way. It's heading right towards St. Louis over the next couple hours. In fact, you look at the radar out of St. Louis as of right now. Make sure I type it in right. Let's just type in Missouri here. Radar out of St. Louis, and the snow is just starting to inch into the radar up here. So here in the next few hours, it could be knocking on the door of St. Louis. You guys probably already still have a little bit of snow on the ground, I imagine, but maybe not. I know you guys didn't end up getting as much snow as y'all were forecasted a couple days ago. But as we keep going, like I said, I think there'll be more snow right here than what it shows. But as we're getting going into about the 9 p.m. range, 10 p.m., I think it'll already be snowing in St. Louis. There's a little bit of more warm air aloft with this ridge approaching. Basically, this ridge is going to bring back to average to above average temperature. So there's just more warm air aloft. That's why it's showing more pink kind of on the western side of this clipper. So, Kansas City, you could see a little bit of sleet and freezing rain, maybe a mixture of things. But this continues to about midnight. An area of snow begins to certainly already be over St. Louis. If you're in Illinois, I think most of the state at this point, especially the northern and central part of the state, could be seeing a little bit of light snow, some flurries, not a whole lot, but there's a lot of cold air in place. So like I said, it's going to easily accumulate. It's going to be kind of like a 1-2 punch. It'll be this initial area of moisture and then this area of moisture up here, and I'll show you how this kind of unfolds. So we're around at midnight tonight. Look at southern Illinois, where you have some winter weather advisories. This could be a few to several hours of some light to moderate snow that can move through this area. We're getting into about 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., moving through now southern, maybe even Indianapolis, southern and central areas of Indiana, still moving through southern Illinois. This continues. It starts to move through western Kentucky. We're starting to get to daybreak now. It's still around 6 a.m., so sun is still down. Snow beginning to move throughout basically the central to western parts of Kentucky. This will even try to get into Ohio. It'll lighten up some, but I certainly think as we're waking up tomorrow morning, some light snow could be entering western Ohio. And then look, it's still snowing up here in eastern Iowa and areas of Illinois. But look, as we're getting a little bit further south, there's an area it looks almost like a little burst of heavy snow into Memphis as you're waking up around, this is around 8, 9 a.m. You got some snow moving into western Tennessee, and I think that this will continue throughout all of Tennessee. It'll spread throughout most of the state. Nashville will probably see a period of light snow at minimum. I think you'll see snow in Knoxville, maybe some flurries in Chattanooga. And this continues. At this point, we're getting into about the middle of the afternoon. You still got snow flying around. In Illinois, Indiana, you probably will have some flurry action going on in Chicago. Indianapolis, a little bit more snow will fall behind this initial area of snow in the morning tomorrow. But this makes it all the way into far western Virginia, southern areas of West Virginia, eastern Kentucky. There's already a little bit of snow still on the ground in these areas. These areas that haven't gotten a lot of snow, but it's been so cold that there's a dusting of snow over a lot of these areas that just has had a lot of trouble melting because it's been so cold. But look at the snow down here all the way in northern Alabama. I think northern Alabama could see some flurries tomorrow afternoon and evening, and I really do think that this could make it all the way down into areas of the southeast. In fact, let's just go on and switch it to the southeast, and it's going to back us up a little bit. Let's see if we can get back to the 18Z. And like I said, here it comes. It's moving through Tennessee. I could make it as far south as Huntsville, and it's snowing at this point. This is as of 5 p.m. tomorrow. It's still very chilly, definitely cold enough up here, and it's snowing. According to the HRRR model, in the mountains of North Georgia, it's snowing in the mountains of eastern Tennessee. It's snowing in the plateau of Tennessee, even the valley of Tennessee. You got snow south of Nashville. It's not a lot, but it's flying around out here, and it can coat things. The thing is with this is we've had an Arctic air mass locked in for about 3 or 4 days now. So all the surfaces are very, very cold. Sure, tomorrow's not going to be as cold as what we've seen, but it's all the surfaces, the soil, the ground is very cold. So this is going to accumulate pretty quickly, I'd imagine. But like I said, these have a tendency to overperform moisture-wise. It's a very dry air mass out there. That's why if I keep this going, look how the moisture it looks like the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee just stiff-arm the moisture from getting east of the Appalachian Mountains. And you keep this going, and there's this weird little feature right here that moves into western Kentucky, western Tennessee, and almost looks like a little squall of snow. And a lot of models pick up on this, and this could deliver some additional snow. Like I said, it's kind of like a 1-2 punch. And, it shows some flurries as far south as Birmingham, Alabama, around 9 p.m. tomorrow evening. You got some flurries still and light snow flying around North Georgia. And then as we get into the middle of the night tomorrow night, look at a little bit of light snow sneaking into Atlanta. And this is sneaking all the way into Columbia, or maybe like between Augusta and Columbia, a little bit of light flurries and snow flying around. It's just one model run, but like I said, this has actually trended a little bit more juiced up, meaning more moisture over the last, I would say, 12 to 24 hours. So, it shows an area of some flurries, some sleet making its way all the way into Columbia area. And I would really be willing to bet you'll see some flurries in North Carolina. We'll have to just see. I'm not saying this is guaranteed to happen, but I will tell you, even the National Weather Service in Columbia mentions the possibility of a few snow flurries. And, the National Weather Service is always going to be conservative, right? But, like I said, the NAM not handling this well right off the dot. It doesn't have moisture as far south. So all we can do is show you guidance on what might happen. But, with the NAM, we'll stop this around 1 a.m. tonight Central Time. It has snow overspreading most of Illinois, still snowing with this little secondary back-end piece of energy for almost the entire state of Iowa. This continues to go through and really has a nice burst of snow for southern Illinois. And it's going to move into Indiana. It's already moving into western parts of Indiana. This is as of around 3 a.m. tonight, according to the NAM. And this is some heavier snow starting to move into western Kentucky. It starts to overspread most of the state of Indiana. And then, like I said, this little back-end area of moisture begins to move out of Iowa and northern areas of Missouri into Illinois. And it's like a 1-2 punch. And then, we'll go on and bring it down to the southeast at this point. We can see areas of the Ohio Valley, too. This is around 6 a.m. Central Time. Snow starting to move into Nashville. A little bit of snow flurry action in Memphis. We're getting into about mid to late morning. It's snowing in Nashville at this point. Snowing in Columbus. Snowing in Lexington, Kentucky. It's still snowing back here in central Illinois. This is that little secondary piece of energy with this clipper. This continues, and then the NAM kind of has it fizzling out, but it's still snowing as far south as north central Mississippi. Some flurry action. This brings a little bit of light snow into West Virginia, all the way as far east as maybe even a little punch of energy all the way into areas of Pennsylvania. But you stop it right here. It's about 3 p.m. tomorrow. A lot of people still have the day off tomorrow. Not everybody though, but you got another area of light to moderate snow flying around in a good chunk of Illinois and Indiana. And at the same time, you got snow flying around down here in Tennessee and the northern counties, maybe as far south as Huntsville. And, this makes it into the North Georgia, to the Georgia mountains up here, and sinks all the way down here into maybe Chattanooga, Knoxville. And then, it hits the mountains here and starts to fizzle out. This is for tomorrow evening. And like I said, this backside energy swings through Kentucky, might deliver additional flurries and light snow for Kentucky and areas of Tennessee. And the same thing with the NAM as with the HRRR model. Look at this little area of flurries almost all the way down here near Columbus, Georgia. Some light snow here in Anderson, really close to Anderson, South Carolina. And, it's picking up on little smidgets of precipitation. So we got to see. I'm going to be interested on what the models look like overnight tonight into tomorrow morning if this continues to trend upward. Because if it does, then maybe, just maybe, the pattern might throw us a bone before it heads out because we're losing the pattern. And for a lot of people, it was a wasted pattern. We were hoping here in the Southeast, especially for us folks in the Carolinas and Georgia, that this was going to materialize and give us a winter storm right around the holidays. Just didn't happen, but this is kind of the last hurrah, the last chance before we warm up substantially. But we got to see what happens, guys. It's very interesting. We can sit here and play with all the model guidance all day. You look at the 12 km NAM, it's a lot more kind of aggressive here. Just brings a steady area of snow across the entire western and central Ohio Valley. We're getting into tomorrow about midday. It's snowing in a good chunk of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee. Snow making as far south as Huntsville. We're getting into tomorrow evening. Snow makes it as far south as Atlanta. And then a little bit of snow flurry action all the way into the northern Midlands of South Carolina. we got to watch it. Yeah, I'll certainly be up looking just for one McFlurry, that's for sure. But the National Blend of All Models, talk about snowfall accumulations. Not a lot. Don't expect a lot with this. But I could see the models not handling this well with accumulations. The ground is rock solid. It's very cold as far south as northern Alabama, northern Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and northern Georgia. It is cold. There's been an Arctic air mass in place. It's still in place. So I could see certain areas getting maybe an inch or two more. But, I don't want you guys getting all mad if you don't. And I feel like the blend of all, the National Weather Service, this isn't the blend of all models I thought it was, has a pretty good handle on this. But let me know what you guys are seeing tomorrow morning. This will be a nice little snowfall that's not going to be dangerous necessarily. But there's certainly going to be areas that get a few inches of snow. I think that there's a chance that the entire state of Illinois sees accumulating snow, whether that be a half an inch or an inch. Indiana, same deal, especially the southern sections. Kentucky, same way. And I think that, areas of Tennessee could see a little bit more than what this is showing. You actually look at the HRRR model, look at that 18Z run and how much snow it shows. And not a lot, just little kind of spurts here and there. But shows you the idea that areas could get, a dusting to an inch. The GEFS ensembles, I like what it's showing here. I feel like it's got a good grasp on what could potentially happen, but we'll try to figure this out, and we'll have one last video on it probably tomorrow, and then probably tomorrow night for you folks in the southeast. But we'll see if we can manage to get some flurries as far southeast as South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, areas that didn't really get to see much from the Arctic front. But it'll certainly be really interesting on what happens with this, if this ends up being more of a hefty snow event than what it shows. But, this is kind of a now event. It's unfolding right now. It's snowing in Omaha, snowing in Des Moines. And, this is moving in now. So we'll be able to see exactly what it looks like by the time we wake up. Temperatures tonight, the Arctic air mass has kind of shifted on off, but still very cold, very cold. Florida will continue. It will get dived down into the 20s. In fact, tonight, might be a little bit colder than last night. For example, in my house, but it only got down to 20 degrees, which I was surprised. I just knew we were going to get into the teens. But tonight, it might get a couple degrees colder as this kind of the cold air just lingers and reinforces itself. Single digits again for the Ohio Valley, and just teens for a lot of areas, almost as far south as the Panhandle of Florida. So very cold air mass, very cold air mass. So we're not dealing with a cold air issue, that's for sure. But certainly, it's going to be rather cold. National Weather Service forecast, widespread teens. A very cold air mass out there for sure. The lake effect snows continue to pop off Ontario and Erie. This will continue. We'll take it all the way out 24 hours through tomorrow morning, through tomorrow afternoon. And then finally it begins to let up off Erie, but it's still pumping on Ontario. And it might kickstart again off Lake Erie. And we take it all the way to Tuesday morning. And you still got lake effect snow falling. So snowfall between now and Wednesday morning. Expect over another 2 foot of snow potentially, especially south of Buffalo. Buffalo probably 8 to as much as 16 inches of snow. And then you take it off, for Ontario. I mean, you guys are getting crushed up here. Well north of Syracuse and Watertown. I mean, if you live up here, you guys are probably buried already. You're going to continue to be buried with another 2 to 3, maybe as much as 4 foot of snow. So hope you guys are doing okay out there. I know you're a lot tougher than these other folks that just don't deal with this at a regular basis, but still, this much snow, it's ridiculous. I read somewhere where Buffalo's already seen 96% of their usual winter snow. And, it's only December 25th. It's only Christmas. You still got another few months of winter left. It's just getting started. But that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Stay tuned. This little clipper's tricky. We could get some novelty flakes, certainly for areas in the southeast. God bless all y'all. Have a great rest of your Christmas evening. Appreciate all y'all, and have a great night.